Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our second top story, a very important one, also from the Daily Caller, Dems are sliding into Trump derangement blender. It's costing them more than they realize. So apparently the strategy now, or a continuing strategy, is to disrupt ICE, but also to appear at court hearings. And as I understand it, in many of these cases, when people are going there to appear for, say, political persecution reasons or amnesty and so forth, the judges do not necessarily grant it because their situation or circumstances or information they provided does not necessarily reflect that they are under any duress, right, from having left or being under political persecution. So a lot of the times the judges do not grant amnesty. So they go there to arrest some of these individuals. The ICE agents go there to arrest these individuals because it's a controlled area. Seeking short-term novelty, viral clips, and fundraising dollars, numerous Democrats are throwing themselves and their party into a new Trump derangement blender. They are playing with fire and in the long term will pay a heavy price. Trump derangement syndrome has many causes and just as many negative consequences. An innocuous Truth Social post from the president account draws comparisons to language used by authoritarians in World War II. A testy exchange between a reporter and cabinet official is evidence that the administration wants to destroy the free press. What? An orderly, family-friendly military parade honoring 250 years of U.S. Army, as we covered here, Army, is a dark display of power. And so these are the kind of things that they talk about and suggest and criticize Donald Trump for. But this strategy is not a very good one. I think people can see right through it, just like we saw with the lawfare with Donald Trump, which, as you guys know, is one of my main key focuses that I'd like to see Bondi take care of, but that's another story. But we can see here, this is Alex Padilla. This was him coming in to disrupt the Department of Homeland Security conference in L.A. that was being held by Kristi Noem. And a side note on this, if you guys didn't notice, is that he also was not wearing his typical Senate pin that they normally wear so people can identify them or know who they are. So probably just a strategy, just like we saw yesterday. As of this recording, it is June 18th on Wednesday. But on the 17th of June, we saw this situation with the New York City comptroller and mayoral wannabe Brad Lander, a leftist loser, got himself nabbed by ICE outside of a federal immigration court. So he's doing the same. He's playing the same game here. So he understands and knows that ICE goes into these, as I said earlier, is that typically the judges don't grant asylum for these individuals or amnesty in certain situations, depending on the case, because they can't produce the information, they can't produce the evidence that they're being politically persecuted in these countries. But let's just take a little look at what happened yesterday with Landers.
Do you have a judicial warrant? Do you have a judicial warrant? Can I see the judicial warrant? Can I see the warrant? I will let go when you show me the judicial warrant. Where is it? Where is the warrant? It's under my hand here. You're obstructing. You're obstructing. I would like to go see the warrant. I'll let go. Take it to see the warrant. No! Take it back. Take it back. Take it back. Take it back. Step back. You don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens. Sir, you don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens.
Now, you see the key thing he's saying here, you don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens, and he is correct. However, if you interfere with a peace officer anywhere in the United States of America, you will be arrested, or you should be. Now, of course, he was detained briefly, so he was not technically under arrest. He was just simply being detained. There is a difference. And I'll have to look into the whole... I apologize for not having looked into him requesting a warrant, because I know in certain situations when it comes to these, a warrant is not needed. I'm sorry I don't have all the technical or legal information for you right now to explain that. But suffices to say, he was not really arrested. He was just detained at the moment. As far as them having warrants or requiring warrants while they go and apprehend these individuals during a court hearing, I'll have to look more into that to give you guys more specifics on that. But as I understand it, they aren't necessary. Otherwise, they would not have gone to do it. I'm sure there's some legalese involved there that I just don't have that information for you right now. I apologize. So political violence, the effort by Democrats to obstruct and even assault ICE agents is part of their larger plan to convince Americans to do the same. Justifiably, lawlessness is the name of saving democracy. So We already know that the hyperbolic language coming from the left and Democrats has created issues. And we could even go back to Butler, Pennsylvania. You know, what inspired that individual to try to harm Donald Trump, right? Or the individual at the golf course. You know, what's enticing these people to do what they're doing? Or even what happened just recently here in Minneapolis, with the tragic loss of a senator and the injury of another senator, Hoffman, and then Hortman. Awful situation. Terrible to see that. And this was an individual that was an appointee of the Democrats. And of course, the roommate is trying to suggest that he was a registered Republican, which he might have been. And then he was anti-abortion and that sort of thing. But I think that's kind of just peripheral. That's derivative of the fact that that individual was really more ensconced with the Democrats than a Republican. But they're trying to play this game. They're trying to divide, as we saw earlier in the video today, where Caitlin Collins was asking Donald Trump, you know, what's going on with MAGA and those that support, you know, the bombing of Iran versus not the bombing of Iran, and of course the division between Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump. Of course, Tucker has apologized for all that, but it's extraordinary the lengths that these people are going to. So here's a mayoral candidate also, Zoran Mamdani, says that he wants to abolish ICE and keep New York City a sanctuary city. Now, this is something that Donald Trump is doing also. He's going after sanctuary cities. We're going to listen to just a little snippet of this, but it's just also another performative, rehearsed type thing that they're getting involved in. And as I say there, they're just simply trying to get the base and the left to perhaps impede more and obstruct more ICE operations, which is very, very dangerous.
I think what we see in ICE is a rogue agency. One that has no interest in laws, no interest in order. What Controller Lander was asking for when he was arrested was for them to provide a judicial warrant signed by a judge. He was asking for them to follow the law, and that was apparently a question too far. And him being arrested is just one indication of...
Now, you see, there's a couple misnomers here, and I should have looked into this earlier when I said about the warrant. But but the thing here is that he also made an incorrect analysis of this as well, is that he was arrested. He was actually detained. Being arrested would be him going through the full process of being arrested and taken to the station and all that so forth. So there's all of this nuance, and there's a lot of semantics. I know people can go back and forth on this, but the point being is that the Democrats' new strategy is to go after ICE, just like they did with Donald Trump. Undermine, disparage, place doubt, suggest that ICE is acting as a rogue agency. They're not following the law. They're rogue. They're just doing their own thing. And that's not true at all. But again, the reason that you're seeing a lot of this verbiage, a lot of this language, or even in California, as we posted on a short when it comes to police officers wearing masks, and that is that they're really trying to appeal to their base. They don't want their base to turn on them, right? They need to say these things to be the carrot on the stick for their base, to keep their base content, thinking that they're doing something for the base. And the reality is that they're going to continue to disrupt. And if you haven't already, on the main page here on the BuzWeaver channel, you can go over here to the video I did just the other day. Democrat Senator Alex Padilla forcibly removed from the Department of Homeland Security briefing, as we covered here. But this continuing situation with the Democrats can't possibly look like anything someone in the middle or the center or libertarians would agree with in what they're doing here, because this is just disruptive. And in all 50 states, it is illegal to disrupt a peace officer. And this is basically what they're doing. They're trying to disrupt. They're trying to undermine. They're trying to create chaos. And as I've said many times to the people on TikTok on a video I made the other day, is they just want to make sure that the base is appeased, right? They don't want their base turning on them. They don't want these radical left that are willing to go out there and destroy property and get in people's faces and get out in the middle of the road. They don't want these people that display this ability to go after individuals to do this. But what we saw in Minneapolis is a perfect example of what happens when you push these people too far. You know, this individual was pushed by something. The Butler, Pennsylvania guy was pushed by something. The guy at Trump's golf course was pushed by something. This rhetoric and language and division, this constant disparaging of the president and what's going on in our country is going to drive these people to do these crazy and bizarre things. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys think about what's actually happening with the Democrats. What is their strategy? What is their motivation by now targeting ICE as their means to get their attention and platforming? You guys will have to let me know down in the comments section. And of course, I want to thank all of you guys who watch the top stories on a regular basis. All of you guys on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. I thank you so much for your guys' continued support. And of course, everyone here on YouTube. Below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to include X, as well as my affiliate marketing links. But you guys can always help out the channel with your likes and your shares and your comments, and I appreciate them all. But of course, let me know down in the comment section what your thoughts are on what the Democrats are doing and what's going on with ICE. I always appreciate it. Appearing there on the screen, that'd be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.